Alyssa Orange joining us from the Pictro Nation. Hi, Alyssa. How are you today?
Hello, guys. We're great. It's beautiful outside. How are y'all?
Doing well.
You sound rested. You don't sound like I felt over the weekend when I got back from Omaha, Alyssa. So I needed a couple of days to wash it all off and feel human again. How many days did you need?
Yeah, I took a weekend, which was nice. Yeah, I slept some as long as my kids let me sleep and just really hung out around the house, went to the pool a little bit, but I feel very much better than I did last Friday. So
Good. All right, so before you came on, we were talking about some of the guys who went in the transfer portal earlier this morning, Gabe Starks, Heston Toll, Max Solis. We saw yesterday Dylan Leach chooses Mizzou. I think Toll's already chosen Texas. Peyton Stovall said he's coming back. But I go down the roster here, and I'm putting an X next to all the players and pitchers who are not going to be back. And there's not much of a team left right now, you know. But that just opens up a ton of opportunities for other players, doesn't it?
It does, and I think the reason why we're seeing this, and not to have anyone freak out and feel like this is nothing new or something new, is that you got to look at the position players, and a lot of those guys are draft eligible, and it's been a while since you've looked at an infield for the Razorbacks and the outfield for the Razorbacks where everybody either doesn't have eligibility left or they can go into the draft, and most of them will. And so that leaves you with Peyton Stovall, and that's basically it. So, it's not uncommon for this kind of turnover to happen, but with guys who are draft eligible or who don't have any eligibility left, this is a little rare. So Arkansas fans feel like, oh my gosh, this team is falling apart. There's no one left. Really surprised to see guys like Gabe Starks in the transfer portal. I thought he could be a guy that could really come on. He got some opportunities at times and had some success, and so that surprised me. The other ones didn't. I kind of had an idea that Heston Toll, we didn't see him very much at the end of the year. He would leave. Dylan Leach is not a surprise, and quite frankly, you know, Mizzou can go deal with his family members on Twitter. That's fine. And so I wish all those guys luck, and this is what Dave Van Horn and this team does. They recruit well. They bring in the right guys, and it's not going to change the trajectory of success, in my opinion.
Yeah. How surprised were you seeing Wes Johnson and the announcement yesterday about taking the LSU pitching coach job? I mean, if the guy was like being fired by the Minnesota Twins, or if they were a dead last place team or whatever, I'd understand.
Right.
It just, that really came out of nowhere, and what an impact that's going to have for LSU. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, huge. And, it kind of took me by surprise because this is a guy who's from Sherwood, and he coached at Arkansas, came from Mississippi State and was here for 2 years and got a great opportunity with the Twins. But I didn't think he would ever leave. Now, talking to my friend Brian Holland down at LSU, he says it's very much family-oriented. Just the grind and the longevity of the MLB schedule was taking a toll on him, wanted to be home with his family, with his daughter. And so according to some things that I've seen that LSU beat writers have obtained with the contract, he's taking a $20,000 pay cut to make this move. Yeah. And so clearly this is for more personal reasons than for business reasons. And for that, I can sympathize and understand.
Mm-hmm. Alyssa, with staying with Wes Johnson, and you talk about him taking a little bit of a pay cut there, $20,000. I know to most of us, $20K is a really big pay cut. But I saw a report yesterday where he's possibly going to be making, $700,000 as a pitching coach. Is that about the number maybe you're hearing?
No, well, I heard it originally, and then the beat writer that I follow on Twitter that I was pointed in the direction of the Brian Holland, who covers LSU, said that that's what the contract is for $380,000. There are some incentives in there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be close to that 750 number that most were originally reporting. That's the latest that I've read, that he kind of backtracked on, okay, here, look, I got this contract, this is what it's saying, not this. So it kind of was like some of the other contracts that we've seen where it's like, oh, they're going to pay him $8 million. And then we actually see it, and it's like, okay, it was actually like $3 million, and that was a little bit of an exaggeration. So tough to speculate there, but that's the latest that I've read.
All right. The weirdest thing that's come out of these last 2 days is the fact that I think Peyton Stovall actually had to come out and talk about how he's not transferring. With these rumors, and it's one of those things that it does really grind my gears sometimes, where it's just people feel. I just feel like a lot of these things just are thrown against the wall, just hoping that something sticks. I always tell people to look at sources. What's something that you kind of give people advice of how not to get caught up in the rumor mill, especially in these dog days of summer where, thankfully, a lot of people are getting bored and they just throw stuff out there.
Yeah, for me, the way that I operate is until I hear it from the horse's mouth, I'm not going to report it. I'm kind of a firm believer, too, that it was really unfair for ESPN to steal Tom Brady's thunder when he wanted to retire. And it's like, that's not your news, in my opinion. Like, I understand that you have a job and your job is to break news or whatever, but at the same time, like, I kind of have a personal thing where it's like, let the guy make his own announcement. Why do we always have to pretend to be first or rush to saying, oh, this might happen? I could sit there and tweet, hey, Robert Moore is coming back. What? Like, what? That there's no credibility behind that. And I'm not saying there wasn't credibility in that tweet, but I also think that tweet was something to where, I know it was from Josh Teeter. I don't think we need to kind of beat around the bush here, but, Josh has built himself a very good following. He's, entertaining. People love him, but he's also still learning and he's new in this business. And so he'll kind of have to figure out once he starts to really seriously take it in a direction. Like, you can't just throw stuff out there sometimes. You got to really be diligent in your reporting, and that's important. And just following it up with hearing these rumors, don't know though, you got to be a little bit more deliberate with things. Like for me, like I can't tweet stuff like that about Peyton Stovall, right? Like my job and my credibility, like I can't do that. So I think it's just really important, especially for these younger kids, to understand in the business, like, there are some ethics that come with what we're doing, and you can't just throw things on social media and then just be like, well, it's social media, I can say what I want. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, I'm 100% with you, Alyssa. And that's I've never understood the getting into this business to be first. I got into this business, one, because I love sports and I love to talk about it, and two, I want to be somebody that people trust. When something comes out of my mouth, I want people to take me for my word of it. And the whole Twitter and social media thing of you got to be first, I never wanted to get wrapped up into, and ultimately, like you said, it's hurt more people than it's ever helped. But when you do ultimately get it right, especially some of these younger people that live on social media, they see all the likes, they see the retweets, they see the follow numbers, and they obviously want that. So what are they going to do? They're going to do the exact same thing.
And my whole thing is, like, I think you've just got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it? Like, you say this, it is what it is, and you put it out there. But how does that impact your relationship with Peyton Stovall moving forward? Or how does that impact your relationship with ex-athletes moving forward? And that's the important thing is what do I get out of this, and what can be some repercussions out of this? And I'm not saying don't say anything about athletes for fear that they may never talk to you again, because there are some things that are true that need to be reported, and that's part of our job. But there is a difference. And I hope I've eloquently explained that.
No, I think you did.
No, I think you did. I think it's, and look, it's not just Josh, and he's getting started in it and everything. He's kind of creating a different path in what you might view as traditional media, of which radio is and print is, and all of that. But I mean, there are still people that have been paid to do this for a long time that view themselves as journalists and still don't get it anyway. And we saw that a month ago at the SEC tournament about the coach, about Van Horn's health and everything. So it does work both ways.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.